What up, peeps? It's the Moving Junk Guy, back with another video. Hope that you guys enjoyed the last one on how to build 6 figures in business using those apps that I mentioned in the last video. Some good content, so I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, share, do all that good stuff so that the message can get out and it can help other business owners. So without further ado, one of the apps that I spoke about in the video last week was Thumbtack, and I'll be touching on some different points about Thumbtack this video. So prepare to learn. Maybe this will help your business, maybe not. Maybe you've had some good experiences with Thumbtack, maybe not. Everybody's experience is different. I've had pretty good experiences with Thumbtack so far, though. Not going to lie. So basically, with Thumbtack, what I see on different groups on Facebook, what I hear from some people I know that use it for different services, and some in my specific industry, which is junk removal and moving, is that they get a lot of tire kickers. They get a lot of people who don't end up going with them, so they feel like they're losing money, which ultimately happens. There's no lead generation out there really that's going to be guaranteed. That's something that I mean, you can't really guarantee a lead. I think the closest that you can get to is Google Guaranteed, which if you're not familiar with it, it's a extension of Google My Business. Basically, you go through this approval process where you become guaranteed with Google. It's not hard, but basically leads that come in, they're screened by Google, and if they're not up to par, then you get your money back, basically. So I guess it's as close as guaranteed as you can get, but I don't want to go on a rant about that. So basically with Thumbtack, a lot of the concerns, a lot of the knocks against them is that people have a low conversion rate. Excuse me. In my experience with Thumbtack, your conversion rate depends on your ability to close. That's what it comes down to. If you're familiar with salespeople and sales in general, you got to be a closer, basically. On Thumbtack and in life and anything. So on Thumbtack, there's 3 key things that I've come across in my business that have helped me to close out leads that come through. And I've used Thumbtack to build my business to 6 figures. I probably made more than 6 figures off of just leads from Thumbtack only. It was the inception of how I started my business. Getting my name out there, getting leads in, closing them, doing all that good stuff. So I am a firm believer in Thumbtack. I still use it to this day, not as much, but it's a good place to start, I believe, for new business owners, for anybody looking to jumpstart some business, get it coming their way, especially when they're first starting. Because I know that those times getting your name out there can be a hard process, a hard time to go. So I think that Thumbtack kind of eases that burden a little bit, where it gives you the in with your customers, because you already know that they're looking for a service, your service specifically, because they reach out to you. So you're kind of halfway there. So without further ado, these are the things that I do on Thumbtack to close leads. I've used this process, or not even this process, but these are the 3 main focuses that I've dialed it in on to have a 90% closing rate on Thumbtack as far as my leads, which is pretty high across the industry, especially with people I talk to that use Thumbtack. It's extremely high. So yeah, this is basically what I do. So the first thing I focus on is time. That's the biggest thing by far. Response time is going to really set you apart from your competitors, for one. And for 2, it's going to show the customer that you're interested in serving them. So the response time is basically from the moment that the customer puts in the lead and it comes through to your phone or your app or whatever, you respond to them. And Thumbtack counts that. They track it. So that's how you get ranked in Thumbtack also. So there's different functionality in Thumbtack where you can see your competitors and how quick they respond. So response time is huge. It's huge. So some of the ways to get by that, there's autoresponders you can pay for. There's different services out there. I'll touch on one of the services I've used in the past, called OnQ in a later video. I'll get more in depth into them. But OnQ is one of them. It's a full service where basically they use Thumbtack's API and they hook it up. So basically when a lead comes in, it auto responds to them. It sends a message to the customer automatically. So you know what that does to your response time? It makes it under about 30 seconds, which is amazing. If you don't really want to pay that much money, because it is expensive, I'm not going to lie, there's other ways to go about it. You can just manually respond, which I was doing for a year and a half. It does get tedious because you're always having to be on your phone, which is the reason why I sought out an autoresponder to begin with. So there's pros and cons to it. I suppose if you don't have a problem with having your phone in your hand at every single second, then it shouldn't be a problem. I know for me personally, as my business grew, as my family grew, as I wanted to spend more time with my wife and things like that, I had to I had to find a solution. So I used a service that provided an autoresponder so that I wouldn't always have to be tied to my phone, like tied to my hip, like it was to my wrist. It was ridiculous. And you basically get punished if you're not quick enough. So basically, that's one of the biggest things. Besides the autoresponder and besides doing it manually, you can come up with templates, which you still have to manually go into your phone to respond, but the template's already there. So you're just clicking a button and sending it to the customer. Way easier than typing up a new message every time, way more efficient, effective, and it's more streamlined. So you kind of know what information you're already providing to the customer and they know, and it's very professional. I attached a template that I use for my template responder to customers. It's pretty simple. I try to put as many details as possible in the template so that I can get everything. One thing I learned, even with emails, any type of text communication, you ask for as much information up front so that there's less back and forth. I believe that has helped me to be more effective in closing leads. There's not a lot of back and forth. Even before I got the templates early on in my journey on Thumbtack, I would automatically try to get the customer's number just off the bat. And this was before Thumbtack included their phone number. So you had to really hustle to get it. Hustle to get their phone number, hustle to get their email address. Even in this new variation of my template, I get email address, I get phone number, I get address, I get lists of whatever they're removing. I get pictures, so that's all included in that initial message. So imagine how far ahead that puts you ahead of your competition, because you're getting everything off the bat. And if they already give you your address, think about how much farther ahead than you are in closing that lead, because it's like, all right, this is automatically a done deal. As soon as I see them send me that address, I'm like, yo, this is mine. This is my lead. I got it. There ain't no competition. It's just me and this person. All it is for me now is to just send them an estimate, and boom, we out. We doing it. So I recommend using templates, and I recommend filling it out as much as possible, getting as many details and questions in there as possible for your customer to answer. And I think that'll help you to increase your closing rate. The next thing is going to be review, which I know, shocker. Reviews are important on every major site. You got Facebook, Google, Instagram, or I think they have leads, Yelp, Thumbtack, Home Advisor, Angie's List, everywhere where you can have reviews. Make sure they're solid. My reviews on Thumbtack are pretty solid. My reviews on Google are higher, but my reviews on Thumbtack are pretty solid. I wised up and I started sending all my past customers on Thumbtack my Google links so that they can all review me on Google, because I prefer it that, because I get a lot more of my business through Google than Thumbtack, and I care more about the Google presence long term. So make sure your reviews are high, because there's a lot of competition on Thumbtack, and your customer can see how you stack up against them, and it'll also increase your ranking up and down. It's just a list of your competitors, and you'll see their rating, if they're 4-star, 5-star, 4.9, whatever. You'll see it, and customers are more likely to go with that person that has the higher rating. Now, the other point that I focus on is price point. Early on in Thumbtack, before I really had it all figured out, I did not advertise pricing. I know that seems like it would be a wise thing to do, because then customers have to contact you to get pricing. But learned is, from my own experience with being a consumer on the consumer side, I want pricing right then and there. Like, I want to see how much something costs so I can know if I want to buy it or not. I don't feel like having to go through 50 steps or contact someone and get in contact with them to get pricing. I feel like that's a tedious hurdle that they have to go through, and I think that will disqualify a good amount of your leads. I know that personally for me, it was a major kicker. I know once I started advertising pricing, it really changed things. So I say that definitely advertise your pricing. I know that it may seem like, okay, well, maybe that'll give me a better way to get the customers up front, because they'll have to contact me. Yeah, yes and no. Because when they have to contact you, maybe they're contacting you with an attitude because they had to go through 50 steps to get you. So I always recommend to people, advertise your pricing. Always do that. So those 3 things. So response time, reviews, and price point. If you really dial in those 3 things and you focus in on those 3 things, I guarantee that it'll increase your closing rate on Thumbtack, and the rest is on you. It's just like when you have a customer face to face. We're all salespeople. We're all customer service people. You gotta be. This is a business. You have to be the salesperson. So make sure that you do those 3 things. You really dial those in. You really focus in on them, because they're gonna really affect your performance on Thumbtack. And the other thing that I forgot to mention, all these things will help you become a top pro, which kind of sets you apart from your other competitors. That top pro badge that Thumbtack gives you really helps out when it comes to winning customers, because they see that badge. It's like, all right, well, this person's legit, along with the reviews and, the response time and the price point, things like that. That'll really set you apart from your competition. So I hope that this video was very helpful for you. Like I said, reviews, price point, response time, make sure you dial those in on Thumbtack, and get after it. Don't give up on Thumbtack. Don't give up on anything. Don't make any of these lead generation sites your sole business generator. You never want to be so reliant on one of them, because they're not always going to be consistent. So make sure you have multiple streams that are coming in. But when it comes to Thumbtack, make sure you do those 3 things and you dial those in. And I guarantee you'll just increase your effectiveness on Thumbtack, and it'll be a good driver of business. It has been for me. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe to it, subscribe to the channel, make sure you share it. And if you have comments or questions, make sure you reach out to me, and download that template that I have attached in the notes. So you can just add it to your thing. You won't even have to write it up. You won't even have to write up your own template. I provided it for you. So make sure you download that, and I will speak to you guys later. Happy junking, peeps.